Hello and welcome back everybody. This is going to be Teambuilder for week 3 of the PDL. I know I didn't get a battle up for last week's. That's because of a last minute coach switch. The coach of the coach of the team I was supposed to play had to drop out, so uh, a new coach took over the team, and they just weren't prepared to get started right that week, so they ended up having to forfeit, which is a little bit unfortunate for them, but it's okay. Hopefully they can come back in the following weeks. But we're going to move on to week 3. We're going to be playing Lythari, and as you can see over on the right, he's got a pretty powerful team. Lots of bulky muns, but also lots of power. So this is the team I ended up cooking up for this week. So hopefully, hopefully they can do what they need to do to get the job done. So we've got Nidoking, Emboar, Clefable, Gyarados, Bronzong, and Gengar. So we're just going to hop right into the Nidoking first instead of we're going to be running Life Orb this week. Sure Force, pretty standard. But instead of running Stealth Rocks on our Nidoking this week, it is going to be 4 attacks. So Earth Power, obviously not just a powerful stab move in general, but also his that Toxapex very hard. Flamethrower is there for this Skarmory. It also can hit Roselia. Roselia also gets hit by Ice Beam. That also hits Sand Slash. And then Sucker Punch can be used to hit faster threats, most notably Alakazam, which if we get to the calc right here, 4 attack, Life Orb, Nidoking, Sucker Punch versus 0 HP, 4 defense Alakazam is a guaranteed knockout. So we don't have to worry about that thing um, as much because thanks to our Nidoking and having Sucker Punch. So yeah, and a little bit of bulk on our Nidoking, as you can see here. Umbreon's Foul Play will never 2-hit KO, so that's what the bulk is for. And then the speed allows Nidoking to outrun Max Speed Braviary and hit it with an Ice Beam if it's not Choice Scarf Braviary. So that's cool. Not super complex, but uh, you know, a set that on paper it looks like it can do a lot of work as long as we can keep Nidoking around. Um, as long as we can keep Nidoking around to do the damage, it can do a lot of damage to my opponent's team. So next is going to be Emboar. Uh, Choice Band is set this week with the Reckless ability, Flare Blitz, Superpower, Wild Charge, and Sucker Punch. So I just opted to go for max attack here to do as much damage as possible. Um, because this is going to be one of my main breakers. Nothing really wants to take a Choice Band and Flare Blitz bar the Toxapex, but we do have that Wild Charge for Toxapex. Superpower hits Umbreon, and if it's specially defensive, that's just going to be a clean knockout. Sucker Punch again for the same reason as it's on Nidoking. It can hit those faster threats like Gardevoir and Alakazam. Hopefully catch him off guard. So another spread that a little bit different, I guess you could say. But the defense IVs or EVs allow um, allow on board to take a Brave Bird from Skarmory, an uninvested Skarmory 100% of the time. So, and then of course max attack. The rest put into defense, not defense. The rest put into speed, so he can outspeed as much as possible, and then 4 points into Spadef because they wouldn't be used anywhere else. Uh, they wouldn't boost any other stat besides special attack, but he doesn't need special attack. He doesn't have any special attacks. Not this week. Next up is going to be Clefable. So today, this week, yeah, we're going to be running a pretty interesting Clefable. Not super interesting, but different. Much different than what we were going to run last week. Leftovers with Magic Guard this time, with Moonblast, Knockoff, Calm Mind, and Soft Boiled. So basically, knockoff support is going to be really nice if we can knock off like the leftovers from Skarmory or maybe the Black Sludge from Toxapex. Being able to hinder the longevity of those Pokemon by knocking out their item should be really nice. And then we've got Calm Mind, so if we can weaken everything to a point where nothing can hit Clefable anymore, then Clefable can possibly just Calm Mind up and sweep from there. So We're going to be running a very specially defensive spread this week as opposed to physically defensive like we were going to run last week because my opponent does not have a plethora of physical attackers. So with the defense IVs, the EVs, with the defense EVs we have, if Skarmory opts to go with Iron Head, it will never 2-hit KO. So we can possibly set up on that thing. Um, and then of course the rest goes into special defense. This allows us to take hits from stuff like Alakazam and Mega Gardevoir better, although they'll still be doing a good chunk. Uh, if we can get a Calm Mind up, they won't be able to break Clef without a crit. So yeah, Clefable something that can possibly sweep late game if it needs to. However, we do also have our Gyarados coming back to sweep if my opponent allows it. We're going to be running Waterfall Crunch, Taunt, and Dragon Dance. Taunt can stop stuff like Haze from Toxapex, or it can stop Haze from Toxapex. It can stop Whirlwind from Skarmory, stuff like that. So that would allow us to basically set up as many Dragon Dances as we need to in front of those things, and then hopefully sweep with Gyarados. So this is going to be one of our main win cons this week because if we can get in front of the Toxapex and get a Dragon Dance up, we can prevent it from recovering, we can prevent it from hazing. And after Dragon Dance, as you can see with this spread, we have max speed. So if he decides to run Scarf Braviary, we'll outspeed that after a Dragon Dance. With the HP EVs we have, as you can see, if my opponent opts to run Life Orb Alakazam, Focus Blast will never OHKO. So we can set up on that thing pretty well. Unless it's running like Fightinium Z, that would be a problem. But yeah, Gyarados just having that natural bulk can allow it to set up and hopefully just sweep right off the bat, because my opponent does not have a lot to stop a Gyarados sweep without using a status move, and of course that's why we do have the taunt. So looking forward to Gyarados hopefully putting in a lot of work this week. Next up is going to be Bronzong, a very similar set to last week. Aguav Berry with Recycle. Very interesting set, I do like that. We've got the Stealth Rock, because we don't have it on anything else, so I do want the Stealth Rock on Bronzong this week. Gyro Ball obviously hits Mega Gardevoir very hard, but it also hits Alakazam, because Alakazam's physical defense isn't that good, so it can hit that for the knockout. It can also hit Braviary pretty hard if my opponent isn't running like a slow Braviary or something like that. So Gyro Ball just being a reliable stab move, able to hit a lot of stuff pretty hard, depending on their speed stat. Psychic is going to be our secondary attack, and this is to hit Toxapex. It won't 2-hit KO right off the bat because of Bronzong's not super high special attack stat. Of course, Toxapex is very bulky, but with the ability to get Spidef drops, it means my Bronzong can 1v1 Toxapex if it comes down to that. So, and then of course the Recycle with the Aguav Berry allows me to have a sort of form of reliable recovery, so Bronzong can stay around longer, hopefully. So this is the spread, again, especially defensive this week, and that is because, as you can see here, he does have a lot of very powerful Pokemon on his team, so I want as much special defense as possible. So with this spread, a Shadow Ball from Mega Gardevoir, will never 2-hit KO unless it's modest, which I do have to be looking out for, but I can't increase his Spidef enough to take to modest 100% of the time, so I just opted to have a spread that lives 2 from Timid, and the rest is put into defense. This can allow me to check stuff like a Sand Slash and Braviary better, so that should be nice as well. So yeah, Bronzong just pretty standard as far as a defensive pivot Pokemon goes. Last but not least, we've got ya boy. It is ya boy LeBron. He is back, and for good reason too. Of course, my opponent does have those two very fast Psychic types that are very powerful, and Scarf Gengar will be able to outspeed both of them and revenge kill them. Um, so he's got the Shadow Ball that hits Alakazam. Uh, it does good damage to Gardevoir as well. Sludge Wave, of course, hits Gardevoir a little bit harder. It also hits the Umbreon, not for super effective, but for decent damage, more damage than Shadow Ball anyway. And it does hit the Braviary neutrally as well. We've got the Thunderbolt. This hits Braviary. It also hits the Toxapex pretty hard. So, um, yeah, with these three moves, we get at least neutral coverage on everything, of course. Umbreon being a very specially defensive Pokemon won't take a lot from Sludge Wave, which is the hardest move we can hit it with. But we do have this trick, so if we can trick that Umbreon on the switch in, it will be Choice Scarf, and that will pretty much prevent it from doing what Umbreon is really supposed to do, which is be a defensive pivot, switch into those special attackers, and absorb those hits. So if it gets tricked to the Choice Scarf, forcing itself to lock into a move is not going to be good for it. So yeah, Trick Scarf, Gengar this week. As you can see, the spread is pretty like standard. This is supposed to be this. We have enough speed to outspeed Emolga, so if my opponent opts for Choice Scarf Emolga, we can outspeed that and hit it. Max special attack, and the rest just put into HP because, I mean, there's not really any other place it would need to go. Unless I wanted to run max speed, but again, like running max speed isn't going to help me outspeed anything. So, yep, that's going to be the team this week. I don't think there's anything. I guess I did forget to tell you guys that I have Levitate on Bronzong this week. Uh, and that's for Sandslash again to help me check Sandslash better. But yeah, that's the team we're going to be running this week. A lot more, I want to say standard. As far as his spreads go, nothing too complex, nothing to like um, really catch a Pokemon off guard. Like for example, I don't have like random Z move Emboar with let's say Z Rock or something to catch a possible Braviary switch in or something like that. Just because like this week I feel that it's not necessary and that um, these spreads can just do the work they need to, and you know, while my opponent does have a good amount of bulky Pokemon with breakers like Nidoking and Emboar, those Pokemon really won't be able to um, switch in, right? Because they'll still be taking so much damage from the attacks that these guys launch off. So yeah, that's the team we're going to be running. Nothing too complex, but you know, everything everything should be able to put a lot of work this week because, you know, I believe in them. I believe in this team. That's why, okay? So, yeah, thanks all for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow with the battle. So,